1. Introduction. My name is Stella. I am 26 years old. My life before Love Island was not easy. I lived in a small town and I felt stuck there. I had many problems and I wanted to leave them all behind. I needed to escape. I needed a fresh start. I thought Love Island would be the perfect place for this. I imagined quiet days, sunny beaches, and a chance to forget everything. I hoped to find peace. I hoped to find a new, simple life away from my past. I never thought that coming here would change my life in such a big and unexpected way. I believed it would be a calm time, a chance to heal and relax. I was wrong. Then I saw Daniel. It was a warm afternoon. I remember seeing him for the very first time near the water. He was a tall man, very strong. He moved with a quiet power. He did not speak much, but his presence was very strong. When he looked at me, it was different from anyone else. His eyes were deep and held a secret. He looked at me as if he saw my true self, something no one else had seen before. It was a look that pulled me in. I felt an immediate and intense connection. It was like a sudden spark, a flash of recognition. My heart felt a strong pull towards him. It was a powerful feeling, one I could not ignore. I felt a warmth, like a small fire starting inside me. I felt excited and curious about him. But with this strong attraction, I also felt another feeling. It was a clear sense of danger. His eyes were beautiful, but they also seemed to hide something dark. I sensed a risk, a warning in his gaze. It was a strange mix of emotions inside me. On one hand, I felt a powerful draw, a deep interest, and a desire to be close to him. My heart wanted to explore this new, exciting feeling. On the other hand, a small voice inside my head told me to be careful. It whispered about possible trouble. I felt both the warmth of a strong attraction and the cold touch of a potential problem. This was not the simple peace I had hoped for on Love Island. This was something much bigger, much more complicated, and perhaps very dangerous. I knew then that my journey on Love Island would not be calm. It would be an adventure into the unknown, with Daniel at its center. This feeling of danger, mixed with such strong interest, was new to me. 2. The first secret. Daniel was very different from the other men on Love Island. He did not talk much, but everyone noticed him. He had a quiet power. His clothes were always good, and he seemed to have a lot of money. He moved with a special grace. He was not loud, but his presence filled the room. This made him mysterious. I felt drawn to him, but also a little scared. He was like a puzzle I wanted to solve. People on the island started to talk about Daniel. Their voices were low, like soft wind. I often heard his name when I walked past groups of people. They stopped talking when I came near, but I heard enough. The whispers were about his past. They said his life was not simple. Many stories floated around. One story was very strong. People said Daniel was married before. They said he had a wife. And then, Without any warning, he left her. He just disappeared from her life, they said. This made me feel a strange mix of emotions. Was he a bad man, or was there a reason? I thought about these stories a lot. They made me curious. I wanted to know the truth. One evening, we were sitting by the beach. The sun was going down, painting the sky orange and pink. It was a beautiful moment. I felt brave. I looked at Daniel. His eyes were on the sea. "Daniel," I started, my voice a little shaky. He turned his head slowly and looked at me. His gaze was intense. People talk," I continued. "They say things about you, about your past, about a wife." He did not look surprised. He just listened. A small, slow smile began to appear on his face. It was not a big laugh, but a soft, warm smile. It reached his eyes. This smile was very powerful. It made my heart beat faster. It made me forget my questions. It made me forget the rumors. His smile was like a warm hand reaching out to me. It pulled me closer, even when my mind told me to be careful. It was a secret smile, as if only I could see it. In that moment, I felt like nothing else mattered. I wanted to trust him, even though I knew so little. His mystery was a strong magnet. I wanted to stay away from the danger, but his charm was too strong. I felt a deep need to understand him, to be near him. His past was a secret, but his smile promised something new and exciting. I was caught. 3. The contract. One quiet evening, Daniel told me something very strange. We were sitting alone, the ocean sounds around us. He looked at me with his usual serious eyes. He said, "If you want to be with me, you must sign a contract." My heart felt a sudden jump. A contract for love? It sounded like a joke, not a real thing for two people on Love Island. I laughed a little, thinking he was playing a trick. I waited for him to smile and say it was not true. But his face stayed serious. He did not laugh back. He took out a piece of paper, folded once, from his pocket. He held it out to me. My laugh stopped. This was real. I took the paper. It felt simple, not heavy or important like a legal document. But the words on it were very clear. I read them slowly. The first rule said I could not ask for or take any of his money. This made me feel a little sad. Did he think I was with him for his wealth? I came to Love Island to escape my old life, to find real feelings, not for money. I wanted a true connection, not a financial deal. This rule made me feel like he did not trust me fully, even with our strong connection. Then I read the second rule. It said our love must be a secret. This was even more confusing. We were on Love Island, a place where everyone shared their love stories. Why did our love need to be hidden? Was he hiding something else? Or was he trying to protect us from the public eye? It meant we could not show our feelings openly. We could not talk about our relationship to the other islanders. Our intense connection, which felt so powerful to me, had to live in silence. My mind started to race. It screamed, "No, this is not right. This is too strange. You should walk away now." but my heart pulled me in a different direction. It said, "He is different. He makes you feel things you never felt before. Do not let him go." I remembered why I came to Love Island. I wanted a new experience, an escape, a new kind of love. Daniel offered all of that, even with his secrets. The pen felt heavy in my hand. My hand shook a little as I held it. I looked at Daniel. He did not say anything more. He just watched me, waiting. His silence was very strong. I thought about leaving, about saying no to the strange contract. But the thought of losing him, of walking away from what we had, brought a sharp pain to my chest. I wanted to stay. I wanted to be with him, no matter the rules, no matter how confusing it all felt. So I took a deep breath. I looked at the paper one last time. Then I wrote my name. The moment the pen left the paper, a strange mix of feelings came over me. Was this a big mistake? Or was it the start of something truly special and new, even if it was complicated? I hoped I was doing the right thing. I hoped my heart knew best. I handed the signed paper back to Daniel. He put it away without a word. Then he gave me a small, knowing smile. That smile made me forget my doubts, at least for a little while. It made me feel like I belonged with him despite the unspoken rules. For the stepmother. After signing the strange contract, Stella felt a mix of feelings. She knew Daniel had many secrets. She hoped to understand them one day. A few days later, Daniel asked her to meet someone important. He said it was his stepmother. Stella felt nervous. She knew this meeting would be serious. They went to a very large house. It was old but looked very expensive. Inside, the rooms were big, full of old furniture and dark paintings. A woman stood by a tall window. She was tall and thin. Her hair was pulled back tightly. Her dress was dark and elegant. This was Daniel's stepmother, Mrs. Alina Thorne. Mrs. Thorne turned slowly. Her eyes were dark and cold. She looked at Stella from her head to her feet. This look made Stella feel very small. It was a look of judgment. It said, "You do not belong here." Mrs. Thorne did not smile. She did not say hello in a kind way. Her voice was calm but sharp. "So, you are Stella," she said. "I have heard about you." Stella tried to smile, but it felt fake. Daniel stood next to Stella. His face was hard to read. Mrs. Thorne did not waste time. She began to speak about Daniel's family and his money. She told Stella a new secret. Daniel's father had left a will. In the will, there was a rule. Daniel must be married to keep his family's money and property. If he stayed single, he would lose everything. All his inheritance would go to other people or to charity. Stella was shocked. She did not know this. This was a very big secret. It made the contract and Daniel's behavior more clear, but it also made everything more confusing. Then, Mrs. Thorne looked directly at Stella again. Her words were like ice. "You are just a tool," she said. "You are part of my plan. You are not important. You will never be a true part of this family." Her voice was low but full of power. Stella felt a sharp pain in her heart. Her face felt hot. She wanted to run away from this cold woman. She wanted to leave this big, silent house. Daniel said nothing to defend her. He just watched his stepmother. This silence made Stella feel alone. The words of Mrs. Thorne burned in Stella's mind. She was just a tool. This meant her relationship with Daniel was not real. It was for money. It was for a will. But Stella had already given her heart to Daniel. She loved him. Even with this new, cruel truth, she could not leave. She decided to stay. She hoped that her love for Daniel was real, even if his family's plans were not. 5. The fake wedding. One morning, Daniel came to me with news. His face was serious. He said, "We must get married, and we must do it quickly." This news was sudden. His stepmother had told me Daniel would lose his money if he stayed single. Now, Daniel wanted to marry. I felt surprised, but I agreed. My feelings for him were strong, and I wanted to be with him. The wedding day came fast. It was not a big wedding. Only a few people were there, a lawyer and an official. The place was small and quiet. Everything happened very quickly. There were no flowers, no music, no guests. It felt unusual for a wedding. I looked at Daniel. He looked calm, but I felt a strange tension in the air. During the ceremony, I watched the lawyer and the official closely. They both seemed nervous. Their eyes moved quickly. They did not look at us much. They spoke their words very fast. It was like they wanted the wedding to be over as soon as possible. This made me feel uneasy. A real wedding should feel happy and special. This one felt hurried and cold. After the short ceremony, Daniel and I were married. But I could not shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. Later, I found out the terrible truth. Daniel's stepmother had paid money. She paid the lawyer and the official. She paid them to make this wedding happen. She paid them to make it fast and without questions. Then, the truth became very clear to me. This wedding was not about love. It was not about Daniel and me starting a life together. It was about money. It was about his father's will. His stepmother wanted him to marry so he would get his inheritance. And Daniel needed me for that. I was just a part of his plan. My heart felt heavy. The wedding was fake. Our marriage was a business deal, not a loving promise. I felt used. The dream of love I had with Daniel began to fade. This was not the happy future I imagined. It was a future built on lies and money. 6. The forbidden love. Even after Stella understood the truth about the fake wedding, she felt a strange pull. She knew Daniel's marriage to her was not for love. It was for his father's will and his family's money. She knew she was just a tool in a big plan, but still she could not leave him. Her heart felt tied to him in a way she did not understand. It was a strong, powerful feeling, like an invisible chain. She wanted to walk away, but she stayed. She could not imagine a life without him now, despite all the lies. Her feelings for him were too deep to ignore. Their life together was not calm. It was full of ups and downs like a wild sea. At night, they often argued. Words were sharp and voices were loud. They disagreed about many things. Daniel often kept secrets, and Stella felt angry when she discovered them. She wanted honesty, but he gave her only parts of the truth. But then, after the arguments, there were moments of deep passion. They would kiss, and all the anger would disappear for a while. These powerful moments made her forget the lies. Their love was like a fire, hot and dangerous. It was also like a storm, strong and always moving. Stella felt more alive than ever before. Every day with Daniel was an adventure, a new challenge. Her emotions were strong. She felt happiness, anger, sadness, and excitement all at once. It was a new feeling for her, a life far from her quiet past. But with this new feeling, she also felt like she was slowly losing herself. The old Stella, who wanted peace and simple love, was fading. She was becoming someone different, tangled in secrets and complicated feelings. She often wondered who she was anymore, or if she still knew herself. The people on Love Island watched them closely. They talked about Stella and Daniel all the time. Whispers followed Stella everywhere she went, from the beach to the restaurant. She heard many bad things. People said she was a gold digger. They believed she was only with Daniel for his money and his rich family. They said she was not a good person, that she was selfish. Others said Daniel was using her, that he did not truly care for her. These words hurt Stella deeply. She felt sad and alone, even when Daniel was near. The island, once her escape, now felt like a cage of gossip and harsh judgment. She knew their love was forbidden and a scandal for all to see. She felt trapped in this difficult, passionate, and dangerous love. 7. The betrayal. Life on Love Island was never simple for me. After the fake wedding and all the whispers, I felt a strange mix of emotions. I loved Daniel, but his secrets always made me worry. Every day brought new challenges. I tried to ignore the gossip, but it was hard. People looked at me differently. They thought I was with Daniel only for his money. This made me feel sad and angry. I wanted to believe in our love, even if it was born from a lie. One afternoon, I decided to take a long walk along the beach. The sun was warm and the water looked blue. I hoped to clear my mind. As I walked, I saw two people far away. They were sitting close together on the sand. My heart started to beat very fast. Something felt wrong. As I got closer, I saw it was Daniel. He was not alone. There was a woman with him. She had long, dark hair and a bright smile. They were laughing. They looked very comfortable together, like old friends or more than friends. My breath caught in my throat. It was a terrible discovery. My heart broke into many small pieces. A sharp pain went through me. I felt numb. All the love I had for Daniel, all the trust, it started to crumble. I did not cry, though. No tears came. Instead, a cold anger filled me. I wanted to know the truth. I needed answers. This was a new secret, a new betrayal. I could not just walk away and pretend I did not see them. I walked directly towards them. Daniel saw me. His smile disappeared. His face turned pale. The woman looked at me, confused. "Daniel," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "Who is this?" Daniel stood up quickly. He looked nervous. He tried to speak, but no words came out at first. The woman stood up too. She looked at Daniel, then at me. Finally, Daniel spoke. He said, "Stella, this is just. She is part of the plan. Part of my family's plan. It is nothing." He tried to touch my arm, but I moved away. "A plan?" I asked. "What kind of plan involves you meeting another woman in secret on the beach?" He looked away. He repeated that she was part of the deal, necessary for his inheritance. But I saw the look in his eyes. It was the same look he had when he first told me about his past or about the contract. He was hiding something from me again. I felt it deeply in my heart. His words did not match his eyes. The betrayal was clear, but the full truth remained hidden. The choice. In the end, I had to make a big choice. I could stay with Daniel. That meant living a life full of lies, gossip, and sadness. Or I could leave Love Island. That meant finding my own freedom again. The decision was very hard. My heart felt pulled in two ways. I still had feelings for Daniel, but the pain was too much. I thought about all the secrets and the problems. I knew I could not live like this forever. I needed to think about what was best for me. I needed to choose my own future, a future without constant worry. It was our last night together. We stood by the sea. The moon was high and bright. The waves made a soft sound as they touched the sand. It was a beautiful night, but my heart felt heavy. Daniel stood close to me. He reached for my hand. His touch was warm and familiar. For a moment, I wanted to forget everything. I wanted to stay in that moment, just us. But the bad memories came back. The fake wedding, the other woman, the many lies. I knew I could not ignore them anymore. The time for pretending was over. The time for a real choice had come. I pulled my hand away from his. I looked into his eyes. I saw a mix of feelings there, maybe surprise, maybe sadness. My voice was quiet, but I spoke clearly. "Daniel," I said, "I love you, I truly do." I paused for a moment. It was hard to say the next words. "But I cannot stay. I need to love myself more than this life. I need to choose my own happiness." He opened his mouth to speak. Maybe he wanted to explain again. Maybe he wanted to stop me, but I did not let him. My decision was firm. I had to follow my heart, but this time my heart was telling me to leave. I turned away from him. I started to walk along the beach. Each step was difficult, but also felt right. I left Daniel standing alone in the shadows. I left the sound of the waves behind me. I left the beautiful but broken dream of Love Island. I left the gossip and the secrets. I left the person I had become, a person lost in someone else's problems. I did not know what would happen next. I did not have a plan. But I knew I was walking towards something real. I was walking towards myself. I was finally free to find my own way. The choice was made. I chose me.